What is up, everybody? Gary Simon here. So today we're going to be doing something a little bit different than normal. Somebody that I know that's a part of my Discord server from day one really showed me the design that they made, and this is it right here. And when I first saw it, I wasn't really exactly sure what I could change that would, really make it a lot better. So I really haven't thought about it very much at all before recording this video. So you're gonna watch me in Adobe XD recreate this design while trying to maintain the overall aesthetic as much as possible to try to examine what is it that we could do to really take it up to the next level. All right, so if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe and let's get started. Wait one moment, you're about to watch me do some UI design. Now, if you're not a great UI designer, you should definitely check out my UI design bootcamp at scrimba.com. At Scrimba, you don't just watch videos. No. You're actually able to modify code in the browser while you learn. My course on UI design features over 100 lessons that are specifically tailored to help you become an awesome UI designer, and they're packed with interactive challenges. So visit the very first line in the description of this YouTube video to access my course along with many others for a very low monthly fee. All right, what is up? The amazing floating head is back. Got a green shirt on. Let's not make a big fuss about it. So here is the design. I'm in Adobe XD here, and let's just go ahead and duplicate the artboard. And the first thing I don't like is that we're kind of like working in it's almost a square ratio. When I'm working with a full design, I like to see it at the full experience. So the full desktop experience, 16 by 9. So what I can do instead of doing that is just we can come here and create a Web 1920, and there we go. We can work from this and then work backwards if you wanted to do tablet and mobile and all that stuff. Although I'm not going to be doing it. We're just going to be focusing here on presumably, a desktop resolution. I would assume though at a wider ratio like this, perhaps this area, this little graphic would be more to the right, and then in the left column would be all this information. But let's just go ahead and just recreate it and just kind of figure out what we can do to improve it. So let's go ahead and get the name, Jonathan Doe, and we will make that white. We'll turn it up real quickly. Looks like he's using Montserrat. Yes, he is. All right, so we'll stick with Montserrat. I haven't been using Montserrat often. I've been kind of switching gears and going towards looks like he's using just regular or even light. Well, we'll stick with light too. I've been sticking with the pop-ins lately. All right, we'll duplicate that. We'll just see what is the weak point. Spoint. What's a spoint? I think I just made up a new word. All right, where's a weak spot in this design? All right. So Jonathan Doe, full stack developer. All right, so I think the problem here is while there's good white space in between here, there's pretty much good contrast, although this is a little bit too thin, I would say. Although it is a larger font size, so you could probably get away with it. It does establish the visual hierarchy here between these two elements. We do have a contact me and view portfolio button, although I'm hugely not a fan of the icon right here. It seems out of place and it seems just not what I would put there specifically. And things are just kind of compacted in. So there's not much of a semblance of a structured layout in my opinion. So I also see, if you zoom up here, we have a very light watermark down here and up there. I think we can rework those as well, and we can use them because they can help to give us texture. In fact, let's go ahead and add, let's go ahead and try to do that in a different manner. So let's do UI and UX design. He has his pretty thick. Let's go back to weight here. Let's just do black, and then we're gonna take down, just like he had, opacity big time, and let's make it big. You know, let's make this really large. All right, I like that. All right, would it make sense to put another one like web design underneath? I don't know, it might be too much. Let's just leave that here for now. And if I think there's, now of course mine has a lot more contrast compared to his. I'm not even sure if you're gonna be able to see it on the video based on the compression. Mine sticks out a little bit more. We could probably take this down from 7 to 4. But now you can at least see it as a watermark. These, the way they're placed, being kind of small, up on the top, not behind anything, to me, that's not quite as ideal. It just disperses the layout a little bit, and there's so little contrast that it doesn't add anything to the design, in my opinion. And you know, we could do something like this, kind of offset it a little bit, make it start all the way. Now it kind of creates like a sort of horizontal column here. So if we're gonna put contact me, view portfolio, I don't like the order of those. People want to see your work first rather than trying to contact you right away. So if we're gonna have 2 call to actions, maybe we should emphasize that one over the other. And so let's just do that. Let's work on some buttons here. So we'll do, let me lock these 2, by the way. Go to our here, we'll lock and lock. Okay, so now I can type. Let's just duplicate this. So we're gonna do SpongeBob case, view portfolio. Now we have, when it comes to button text, we have options in terms of, do we want to go all title case and maybe make it bold but smaller, and maybe larger tracking, or which is letter spacing, or do we want to stick like this, be more conventional? There's a lot of subjectivity regarding this idea. Do we want to make them encapsulated in actual button containers, or do we want it to be open-ended like this, and maybe with a very simple understated underline? There's a lot of ways we could approach it, and that's a great thing about something creative like this, because if you had so many constraints, it wouldn't really be a creative field and everything would look the same. So we can make a lot of arbitrary decisions, subjective decisions that we think are good, and be fine with it. You know, we could do something where we just have a border instead of having it filled. Now, maybe this is just too much contrast. I don't know. Let's see what it looks like and play around with it. Get this centered up. Move this over here. We want to start on the same column, roughly as this F right there. And so we could take the opposite route, and we could go really low contrast with that container. You know, that could work, although this for a call to action doesn't really stick out that much, does it? So maybe, and how could we solve that problem of it not sticking out very much? Well, let's redo the opacity. We could take this and give it color. Right now, nothing has color essentially in this design, so we could give it color. We can first find out what hue the background is in. So if you hit oops, not that. We just get our eyedropper tool, and when we come back here, it's what I thought. It's a desaturated blue with that has a significant amount of tint in it, or tone rather. So we could come up, maybe right there, possibly make it bold. Drag this out now. So we could do that. Or if we really want it to stand out, to give them some place that's going to definitely draw attention from their eye, we could, let's get this and add it to our swatches here. We could just fill it with that color. And then let's get this rectangle underneath. Now I feel like the button should have more white space. Make it big and beefy so that people can click it and find it easily. All right, there we go. So now we got something that sticks out. So This does kind of lack a little bit of visual hierarchy, even though you read the name and this is separated here pretty well. In terms of where should I go or click, it's not immediately identifiable. So now we could take like a secondary call to action and do something like contact me. And let's get out, you know, he had an icon here. We could do an icon, but I don't like how it's encased like this. It seems like a separate button to itself. So really, you should have just taken this pen icon, this outline, and just made it white and maybe put it right next to the contact me button, because they feel too disconnected. So we can go ahead back to my plugins and icons for design. We'll just put, I don't know, link. There we go. So we'll take this link. Yeah, there we go. We'll make it white. Drag this over here. Scale it down. Let's see. Make sure your alignment is good. It's in the center of it there. Oops. I'm screwing stuff all over the place. Come on, what's happening? Screwing stuff up, rather. We can make this smaller. All right, so for now, that's fine. I'm not sure if I entirely like it. We'll leave it like that for now. Okay, so Jonathan Doe, full stack developer. Notice how there's really a lot of contrast because it's using such a very thin weight. Maybe we can, what's this doing? Why is it, I should not, oh my God. Let's go back to our layers. Put it underneath. Now we can select Jonathan Doe. Maybe we should make this a little bit, you know, we can go to medium. Light, we probably wouldn't want to go extra light. You can. I mean, just notice the difference. This one's pretty hard to read. You could still read this, and we have that nice, you know, visual hierarchy defined between these two pieces of type. So what else? All right, the big elephant in the room is this illustration of sorts, which I don't know if that's part of his branding. I don't know if that's the case. If it is, let's see if there's a way for us to do something with it that would make it look good and a part of this design. I don't really know the answer to that question until I just get in there and just redesign it. So as far as these colors, they work pretty decently well next to each other. The green might be throwing in a little bit too much color, too many hues in this design for me to know. So I don't know what the situation is yet. So let's just take that green. And I don't like how the colors combine there. It's not enough of a contrast, and there's just a strange color combination. Let's see if I can kind of recreate it as much as possible. It's kind of coming right here. All right, so now we'll take this. It's down a little bit. Okay. Let's see here. Almost done. 1 second. Hang with me. All right, and then we'll grab this color right here. That's a pretty decent, almost kind of spot on. This is a little bit different here, but we have the general idea. So now let's group them up, move them into position. So now that they're disconnected, we're in the idea that there's a right column and a left column. We've definitely improved the readability to full stack developer. We've definitely improved the buttons right here. What happens if, like, you know, we're on, you know, this seems like more of like a tablet design, based on, you know, the what do you call it? The aspect ratio. So what happens like if we were to design this for something that's more consistent with the size of his? So what we could do is just move this over. Would it still lose quality in terms of what it looks like? And if so, you know, what can we do to fix it? So that's an important question. I don't like it. So I think when these two elements clash here, the structure of the layout is, and the lack of white space is kind of just thrown off. So we have a decision to make. Do we shrink this in size? In which case it might look funky. Let's duplicate this so I can work on something new. You know, do we then just put this over here? And of course, in the front-end development process, you'd use media queries to make this stuff adjust accordingly. And then do you also maybe scale down this stuff here? You know, just maybe get some fluid typography, so to speak. And then just do this. So that seems, let's see what their font sizes are. Yeah, we're still really large at 34. So this at like a tablet, like a large tablet, that still works. And we could also do other things. For instance, let's duplicate this. Let's put this like up and down here. You know, we could bump this up big. What happens if we, can we flip this? Yeah, so like what if we took this, made this white maybe, or even the color of the background and really made the, like watch, like if I go like this, take the color of the background. See, I think this right here looks more interesting than say this right here. So, and it might be even better than this. Okay, so then if we were sticking with this theme, we could take this, just like offset it like that. Now what about colors? Let's do another duplication here. And put it down. Could we work with other colors possibly? Does it make sense to use this blue right here? What about this color? Let's first hide that. So I did a video recently on color theory, working with, what the heck are they called? One second. I forgot the name. Analogous colors. So an analogous color, if you didn't watch that video, is if we go to I, take this. Look at this. I kind of like that. It's a monochrome approach because we're just dealing in two colors. Well, we're dealing with white and blue. To me, like these two compared, I really love this a lot more. And this wouldn't be analogous. Analogous would be this, using an adjacent hue. So we can pull down here. That way we're working something a little different. Or we could go back to the original right here and then go up. Like that. And so I think that looks really cool. But again, the colors that are chosen, these aren't necessarily bad. It definitely makes it more colorful. Let me go back here. Maybe really make this big and interesting. Look at that. I think that looks really cool right there. And then you could do something further, like, you see if I can do it here. Now, this is kind of reminding me of Pepsi for some reason. Let's come down here. Shoot, I didn't mean to do that. Alt, and then pull it in. Alt, pull that in. Alt and pull that one in, and then combine this. Oops, didn't really want to do that. Although, just for you guys to get the idea of what I'm aiming at here, we could get that same hue, and all things being equal, and then maybe make it tint it a little bit, or shade it a little bit, and then keep on doing that down and down. So like you do another one here. Ideally, you wouldn't do it this way. I would go into like Adobe Illustrator and use the Pathfinder tools to do this properly. But just for the sake of showing what I'm thinking here. And then make this one maybe a little bit darker, shade it a little bit. So, something like this. I really like that. But I'm not saying this is necessarily 100% bad, but it seems a little bit, I'm not sure what this is. This line is coming through. And this is more simplified, although it has shade worked into it. It's a nice round circle. There's not a lot of things happening. So yeah, that's one thing to consider. So really, we could say we're going from this to this, which in my opinion, it seems to be of a better quality, because we've made these certain decisions that pertain to the various UI fundamentals, like establishing a better visual hierarchy with the call to action buttons, also making sure the full stack developer text is readable, really working in a watermark, a type-based watermark in the background that gives it texture for things to sit on, and then just simplifying the actual illustration as well. So hopefully you guys came away from that by learning a little something. All right, hopefully you enjoyed that. You learned something new. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you all soon. Goodbye.